You walk past a stranger's dog on the sidewalk. You don't know its name. You have zero history with it, but your body moves anyway. Your knees bend, your hand reaches out, and you're suddenly kneeling on the concrete, using a voice you would never use at work. Calling a strange animal sweet baby. Why did you do that? You did it because your brain just got hijacked. This isn't a personality trait. This isn't about being a dog person. It is a hardwired, unstoppable reflex built into the human species. We pet dogs. We stroke cats. We touch horses, rabbits, and the occasional confused lizard. We see a ball of fluff, and our hands move on their own. Nobody taught us this. Nobody ever explained why we do it, until today. Is it just because they are cute? That sounds right, but it is entirely wrong. The instinct to touch a squishy face is a deep biological trap. When you see an animal with a large forehead, huge eyes, and a tiny nose, your brain does not just think it looks nice. Your brain flips a switch. An Australian scientist named Konrad Lorenz proved this in 1943. He called it Kinderschema, the baby schema. Human babies evolved to look a certain way for one reason: to hack adult brains. Big eyes and wobbly limbs force us to protect them. Evolution built a security override into your head. And here's the glitch. The system doesn't check if the baby is actually yours, or even human. It sees big round eyes on a dog and it fires the parental alarm. Suddenly, you are intensely protective of a creature you met 12 seconds ago in a parking lot. Your brain was tricked by a furry glitch. Lawrence figured this out in the 1940s. He had no brain scanners. He just watched people react and took notes. Decades later, we put humans inside fMRI machines. We showed them pictures of baby animals. The machines proved him right. The brain lights up in very specific regions. An electrical storm hits the orbitofrontal cortex. It strikes the structures built for reward processing. Brain scanners do not lie. Your brain is not just looking, it is burning energy. It is reacting to things that keep you alive, things that matter. But looking is only the first step. Touching is a completely different layer. We treat touch like one simple sense. It is not. Your skin is covered in mechanoreceptors. It is an absurdly sophisticated machine running multiple systems at once. You have specialized cells for pressure. You have sensors for heat and vibration. But there is a hidden network of wires under your skin called C-tactile afferents. Scientists dug into them recently. These nerve fibers do not care about sharp pain. They ignore firm pressure. They are built for one exact motion, a slow sweep. Velvet friction moving at exactly 1 to 10 centimeters per second. When you stroke something soft, these fibers wake up. They send data to the somatosensory cortex, the place that maps where you're touched. But they do not stop there. They fire signals straight into the emotional centers of your brain. They light up your circuits for social bonding. These fibers exist for a single powerful reason. They turn physical contact into something real. They make a soft touch feel emotionally meaningful. Running your hand slowly over soft fur perfectly triggers this hidden network. The texture, the body heat, the slight pushback against your palm. Fur is practically engineered to hack this exact sensory system. You pet a dog, and you are literally firing a neurological pathway built for social survival. This is a chemical handshake. It runs on oxytocin. Scientists call it the love hormone. That is a lazy label, but it works. Oxytocin floods your brain when you hug a friend or hold a child. And multiple studies show the exact same thing happens with dogs. You spend 3 minutes touching a golden retriever, locking eyes with it, and your blood physically changes. Oxytocin spikes. And here's the wildest part. The dog gets the exact same spike. You look into its eyes. You stroke its head. You both get hit with the identical chemical wave that binds a mother to her newborn. You walked up to a stranger's animal on the pavement, and you accidentally fell a little bit in love. The dog did too. This is not poetry. This is biology working perfectly. You touch. They touch back. Chemistry happens. But step back for a second. Why fur? Why do we not feel an overwhelming urge to stroke a brick wall? The answer is tactile memory. From the first day you open your eyes, life is defined by warmth. From the first day you open your eyes, life is defined by warmth. Cold is death. Warmth is safety. As an infant, you survive by pressing against warm skin and soft blankets. This association locks into your nervous system before you even have language. Softness equals safety. Softness equals survival. It becomes your primal thermostat. Then add the heat. Fur is warm. To your deep brain, warm things mean a living, breathing body is near. When you put your hand on something warm and yielding, your body drops its shield. Your heart rate slows. Your sweat glands calm down. Cortisol drains from your blood. You are not deciding to relax. Your nervous system feels the heat, recognizes another living creature, and whispers that you are safe. The sound matters just as much as the touch. Cat purring is not just a cute noise. It is a biological mystery. A cat produces a mechanical hum by rapidly twitching its laryngeal muscles. The throat vibrates dozens of times a second on every breath. This creates a continuous rumble. A domestic cat purrs between 25 and 150 hertz, mostly locking in at 25 to 50 hertz. Science looked at that specific frequency. Medical researchers found something strange. That exact range heals bone tissue. It crushes inflammation. It speeds up the repair of damaged flesh. Physical therapists are building machines to mimic this exact mechanical vibration to fix broken bones. A cat sits on your chest, and you do not just hear it. You absorb its vibration. The animal is a biological medical machine hiding behind a coat of fur. They sit on your laptop. They judge your bookshelves. They act entirely selfish. Yet they accidentally heal your skeleton. We find them impossible to ignore. We should, but why is this urge so compulsive? Plenty of things feel good, but we control ourselves in public. Animals break that rule. You should ask the owner first. Your friend's cat hates strangers. You reach out anyway. A biological gravity is pulling your hand. Your brain sees a warm, soft target. It triggers every single reward signal available in your head. This creates a magnetic gravity that moves faster than your conscious thoughts. You do not decide to pet the animal. An invisible string yanks your arm forward. Your logical brain is just playing catch-up to a physical action your body already started. The exact same survival circuitry that drags you toward food when you starve pulls you toward that dog. You are literally drawn to it. Science calls this cute aggression. It sounds terrifying, but it is deeply fascinating. You see a puppy? It is too small, too soft. Suddenly, you want to crush its face. You clench your jaw. You whisper mock threats. You say you could eat it alive. You want to squeeze it into dust. You have zero intention of actually hurting it. Yet the violent urge is intensely real. If you have ever wanted to aggressively scrunch a tiny animal, you have felt this. Yale researchers tracked this phenomenon. They found it is not random. It is an emotional circuit breaker. When you look at a kitten, you experience brain overflow. The volume of positive emotion is too massive. Your system cannot process it easily. So, your brain hits the emergency brake. It manufactures a violently negative impulse just to balance the scales. That sudden instinct to crush a tiny creature into another dimension is a defense mechanism. Your nervous system is desperately trying to stabilize the overwhelming joy. Your slightly unhinged urges simply mean your brain works perfectly. But is this just us? Are humans the only ones trapped by this pull toward other animals? No. This is an ancient primate echo. Wild monkeys approach other species for no survival reason at all. They just want to touch. Bonobos play with strangers. Capuchin monkeys handle tiny creatures with extreme scientific caution and absolute care. Captive apes constantly build physical bonds with the animals living near them. They do not just love other primates. They love dogs, birds, and rabbits. A massive gorilla deeply mourned a tiny domestic cat. She signed words of profound grief. She wept in her enclosure. Why? Because the physical bond was real. That gorilla was Coco. She learned sign language over decades. She actively requested pet cats. She named them herself. She touched them with heartbreaking gentleness. When one died, the loss shattered her. A giant ape grieved for a fuzzy creature because touching it meant something. Touch is not a human invention. The drive for physical connection is ancient. It runs aggressively deep through the entire animal kingdom. To grasp how ancient this drive is, look at coevolution. The bond between humans and dogs is not an accident. Dogs did not just hang around until we tolerated them. This biological alliance took up to 40,000 years of brutal mutual adaptation. We slept side by side. We worked the same dirt. We touched each other for so many millennia that we physically altered each other's biology. Wolves do not care where you point. Even hand-reared wolves ignore your gaze. Dogs are completely different. They instinctively track your fingers. They lock onto your eyes. That direct stare instantly triggers that chemical oxytocin loop. But the real magic is entirely physical. Dogs literally redesigned their own faces. They used a genetic chisel to sculpt a brand new muscle, the levator anguli oculi medialis. Wolves barely have this. Dogs use it to execute a devastating eyebrow trick. They raise their inner brows, widen their eyes, and completely dissolve your emotional defenses. They sculpted their facial muscles just to unlock your heart. This new anatomy is not random at all. It is the result of thousands of years filtering for the exact look that forces human hands to open. They figured out the precise expression that makes us feed them and protect them. Dogs were not passive victims of domestication. They co-authored the pact. They socially engineered us. We never domesticated dogs. What happens to us when we stop touching? This is the core truth. We must face it. Skin hunger is not a metaphor. Denying physical contact creates a biological starvation. Isolation destroys us. People locked away from society survive far better if they have a pet. Their baseline cortisol drops. Depression fractures. Anxiety fades away. Science rigorously tested this exact dynamic. Is it just the abstract idea of company? No. The physical contact itself is the cure. The flesh and blood tether. The heavy, warm weight of an animal against your shin. The brutal reality of touching something alive. Therapy dogs walk into sterile hospitals. Pain metrics crash. Pre-surgery panic vanishes completely. Recovery accelerates. In chaotic schools, a calm dog instantly diffuses childhood stress. The timeline is terrifyingly fast. 15 minutes of physical contact rewires your blood. Cortisol plummets. Oxytocin spikes. Your nervous system is not debating. It knows exactly what it requires. It absorbs the touch instantly. We are desperately starving for this. We hide it extremely well. We joke about our lack of control. We act like stopping for a stray cat is a funny character flaw. We laugh about being late because a golden retriever ambushed us. We are wrong. That instinct is deadly serious. Mammals use touch to broadcast safety. It is the ultimate nervous system regulator. It replaces language entirely. It silently screams that you are not alone. For nearly all of our long human existence, we slept next to beasts. We actively worked the dirt together. We shared body heat just to survive the freezing nights. The clean, sterile distance between humans and animals today is an evolutionary phantom limb. It is incredibly recent. Our brains never adapted. Your reward circuitry still demands warm, breathing fur. You were never going to ignore that animal on the sidewalk. You were built for this. You never had a choice.